The Yorkshire Dales is a paradise for walkers and nature lovers. With deep valleys, limestone cliffs, dramatic waterfalls, picturesque villages, and lush greenery, you'll have many incredible options for your trip to the countryside. In this video we will show you 12 examples of some of the amazing places you could go for a walk in the Yorkshire Dales National Park and the bordering area of Nidderdale. Our suggestions are based on walks we have enjoyed on our own trips to the Dales. We tried to keep the selection varied in terms of sights and landmarks, so hopefully you will find something that appeals to you. We're going to start our journey up north in Swaledale, which is perhaps a lesser visited part of the Yorkshire Dales National Park. Mewcott is a fantastic place to start a walk which takes you through gorgeous hay meadows. If you visit in June, you'll be surrounded by a wide variety of colourful wildflowers, such as buttercups, wood cranesbill and pignut. You will also see 18th century cow houses dotted around. These old barns were used to shelter cows in the winter and store hay harvested from the surrounding meadows. While in the area, we really enjoyed a 6-mile circular route from Mewcott to the charming village of Keld. As part of this walk you can see Crackpot Hall, which is a 17th century abandoned farmhouse. Not only can you explore the crumbling ruins, but this spot has amazing far-stretching views over the valley. You will also see several waterfalls on this route. If you are up for a bit more of a challenge, then don't miss Kiston Foss. It takes a little bit more effort to get to than the others, but you will be rewarded with a stunning set of falls that feels almost hidden away in a wooded gorge. Overall, I would say this walk is moderately difficult, especially if you take the steep and rocky path down to Kiston Foss. This has to be one of my favourite walks in the Yorkshire Dales so far, so I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for somewhere to go in the northern part of the national park. For our next couple of walks we're going to go into Wensleydale, which is not only famous for its delicious cheese, which we'll come to shortly, but also for its impressive waterfalls. If you're heading to Wensleydale from Swaledale, you could go via Buttertubs Pass, which is possibly the most well-known road in the Yorkshire Dales. This incredible road twists and turns across the high moorland and gives you dramatic views over the valley. We would recommend taking this road if you can to reach number 2 on our list, Hawes and Hardraw Foss. In Wensleydale sits the market town of Hawes, where you could take a short walk from the town to see Hardraw Foss. With a drop of almost 100 feet, Hardraw Foss is known for being England's largest single-drop waterfall. You access the waterfall through the back of the Green Dragon pub, then walk along the river to the fall. You'll have 2 options for this walk: the easier, flat, slow-level walk where you see the waterfall from the bottom, and the high-level route where you go to the top of the waterfall. As the routes are short, you could do both, so that's what we did. You could also combine your walk with a trip to the famous Wensleydale Creamery. Visit the cafe or restaurant to try some of their famous cheese, pop to the gift shop to take some home with you, or even attend a demonstration to learn more about the making of Wensleydale cheese. Just 9 miles east of Hawes on the River Yore, you'll find Aysgarth Falls, which you may recognise if you've ever seen the classic film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, as this is where the fight scene takes place between Kevin Costner and Little John. Follow an easy woodland path to see the lower, middle and upper falls tumbling over the rocky ledges. There are some parts of the falls where you can sit and relax at the edge and just take it all in. This walk is only around 2 miles long, so if you would like to extend it, there is a popular 6-mile circular walk that combines seeing Aysgarth Falls with the ruins and gardens of Castle Bolton. However, if like us you don't have time for the full 6-mile walk, then you could walk around 20 minutes from Aysgarth Falls to Aysgarth Edwardian Rock Garden. Tucked away at the western end of Aysgarth Village, this hidden gem may only be very small, but we think it's worth stopping by if you're in the area. Commissioned before the First World War by a local landowner, this Grade 2 listed rock garden is like an enchanting walk-through grotto. Explore the twisted paths through the limestone where you'll be surrounded by pretty alpine plants. There's even a tiny stream complete with a trickling waterfall. Next we're heading southwest to one of the most famous destinations in the Yorkshire Dales, the Three Peaks. You could choose to take on the gruelling Three Peaks Challenge, where you tackle Pennygent, Whernside and Ingleborough. That's 25 miles of clambering up and scrabbling down, all in one day. If that sounds like too much for you, then don't worry, you're not alone. Many people choose to just climb one of the three peaks as their walk. The clips you see now were taken from our walk up Pennygent. This peak is almost 700 metres high, with the most taxing part of the hike being at the final scramble just before you reach the top, but it's not too difficult and the views from the summit are well worth it. Once you've walked back down, you can take a short detour to Hull Pot, which is a huge collapsed cavern measuring 91 metres long by 18 metres wide and 18 metres deep. The detour to Hull Pot doesn't take long and we think it's well worth stopping by as part of your walk. You could also choose to climb Ingleborough, standing at 723 metres high, or Whernside, which is 736 metres and the highest summit in Yorkshire. If you decide to hike up Whernside, then you could combine your walk with a stop by the Ribblehead Viaduct. This man-made structure is really impressive, and the closer you get, the more you can appreciate just how huge the viaduct is. Our next stop in the Yorkshire Dales is just a few miles down the road at the Ingleton Waterfalls Trail. This amazing 4.5 mile trail leads you through shaded mossy woodland, across wide open countryside, along peaceful bubbling rivers, and of course past multiple spectacular waterfalls. There is so much variation in landscape all within one trail that this is definitely a must-do walk in the Yorkshire Dales. While the magnificent waterfalls are of course the highlight of the walk, you will also pass through some wonderful sections of woodland. On your way round, you'll spot helpful signs to help you identify birds and trees, which are a handy addition and really add to your enjoyment of the walk. As Ingleton Waterfall Trail falls on private land, there is an admission fee of £8 per adult and £4 per child to help with the upkeep of the walk, and we thought it was well worth the price. Our next stop is a 4.5 mile circular walk starting at Malham Cove. The iconic curved white cliffs were formed through ice and water erosion at the end of the last ice age. This natural wonder is not only a popular place for walkers and sports climbers, but birdwatchers also flock to Malham Cove to spot the peregrine falcons, which have been nesting at the site since 1993. Walk to the top of the 70-metre high cliff and be treated with panoramic views across the glorious Yorkshire countryside. The limestone pavement at the top of Malham Cove is deeply eroded and forms a really unique pattern. Any Harry Potter fans might recognise this from the 7th film, as this is where Harry and Hermione set up camp while they were on their mission to destroy the Horcruxes. The next stop on your walk is Goredale Scar. Follow Goredale Beck through a spectacular gorge where limestone cliffs tower on either side. You then turn the corner to the grand reveal, which, believe me, is a lot more impressive than my rookie camera skills let on. The final key natural attraction on this walk is Janet's Foss, a small waterfall which carries Goredale Beck over a limestone crop into a deep pool below. The name Janet is a folktale reference to a fairy queen who's thought to inhabit the cave at the rear of the waterfall. The drop pool of Janet's Foss was traditionally used for sheep dipping, which was a festival-like event for the local villagers. Our next walk starts and ends in the idyllic village of Grassington. Not only does this circular walk involve quiet, peaceful stretches of countryside, but you can start or end your walk by exploring Grassington's pretty stone streets, filled with tea rooms, unique shops and pubs. This walk will take you through rolling green hills and the flower-filled Grassington Park Estate meadows. Even though we were there just a little bit too early to see the meadows in full bloom, it was still really pretty. Just as with the Muka walk that we showed you earlier, if you time your walk for June, then this is the best time to see the meadows. Once you reach the village of Hebden, you'll follow the peaceful River Wharfe back towards Grassington. This route will take you towards Linton Falls, which is another highlight of this walk. You can cross the bridge and look down to watch the water thundering through the rocks beneath you. Number 8 on our list is Bolton Abbey Estate. It's worth visiting the estate to explore the ruins of the priory alone. After being gifted the land in 1154, the Augustinian canons lived and worshipped here until the priory was closed in the 1539 dissolution of the monasteries. However, as the canons had pastoral responsibilities in the surrounding community and it was the only church in the area, they were able to preserve the nave, and the church still thrives today. If you would like to go for a walk after viewing the Priory, then you have several different options for trails around the estate. There will be different distances, difficulties and terrains available, so make sure you check the Bolton Abbey website to decide which walk you would like to do. If you choose a woodland nature trail, then you can stop by the Ferocious Strid, which some say is one of the most dangerous stretches of river in the world. While I don't know how accurate this claim is, you do have to be very careful while admiring the crashing, swirling waters of the Strid. The reason the Strid is so dangerous is because the river is pushed through a narrow gap, resulting in deep, fast-flowing water with strong undercurrents, hidden caves and undercuts rocky edges. There are also different events and activities held throughout the year at Bolton Abbey. For example, on our most recent visit there was the Welly Walk. This trail is particularly fun for families with children and involves tackling different obstacles such as stepping stones, nets, beams, ropes and tunnels. If you book before the day of your visit, then admission to Bolton Abbey Estate is currently £10 per vehicle, not per person, and includes parking. If you wait until the day of your visit, then admission is a couple of pounds higher. Next, we're heading to the tranquil Swinsty and Fewston Reservoir, which sits on the southern side of the Nidderdale area of outstanding natural beauty. With flat terrain and well-maintained paths, the Swinsty and Fewston Reservoir Loop is ideal if you're looking for a fairly easy walk. The full loop is a little over 7 miles long, although you could just walk the perimeter of one of the two reservoirs if you were looking for something a little shorter. We really enjoyed the views across the reservoir, the paths taking you between the tall green pine trees, and the moments where we saw a flock of what I think might have been whooper swans taking flight. Number 10 is Brimham Rocks, which is managed by the National Trust. This area is filled with amazing giant rock formations that were created over 100 million years before the first dinosaurs even existed. People used to think that these rocks were made by the Druids, but now we know they were naturally formed. Over time, the ice, wind and rain sculpted these rocks into really interesting shapes, and a lot of these formations have been given nicknames based on what they look like. I'll show you a few examples. There's the Idol Rock, which is a huge rock that has somehow been balancing on a much smaller rock for the last 10,000 years. There's Druid's Writing Desk, which kind of looks like E.T. There's the Dancing Bear, or is it a begging dog? And then there's Lover's Leap. Supposedly there was a couple, Edwin and Julia, who were madly in love. But Julia's dad wasn't having any of it and said they couldn't see each other anymore, so the couple jumped off the rock together. However, rather than plummeting to their death, they floated to the ground. Brimham Rocks is a large site, so you could spend a few hours scrabbling around and exploring if you like. However, there are several options for other walking routes in the area. If you're looking for a longer walk, then you could follow an 8-mile circular route between Brimham Rocks and the picturesque market town of Pateley Bridge. You could break up your walk with a browse of the high street, which is full of independent shops, including the oldest sweet shop in the world. As you explore, keep your eyes peeled for plaques, as they will help you learn more about the history of the town. 7 miles up the road from Brimham Rocks, you will find another National Trust property and designated World Heritage Site, Fountains Abbey and Studley Royal Water Garden. Dating back to 1132, this is one of the largest Cistercian monasteries in England. Fountains Abbey was founded by 12 monks who became fed up of the extravagant lifestyles of the other monks in York and were looking to live a more simple life elsewhere. Through wool production, lead mining, cattle rearing, horse breeding and stone quarrying, Fountains Abbey became one of the wealthiest monasteries in England before it was closed down by Henry VIII. After walking the grounds of the ruined abbey, stroll along the river to the 18th century Studley Royal Water Garden. Walk by elegant waterways dotted with classical statues and search for follies around the garden. Explore the woodland, admire the views, and don't miss walking through the dark serpentine tunnel. Admission is free to National Trust and English Heritage members, otherwise the cost is £17 per adult and £8.50 per child, although there are group and family tickets available which could make your trip a little bit cheaper. Now, if you're looking for something with a bit of an unusual story for your walk, then Druid's Temple could be a good option for you. Set in the woodland of Swinton Bivouac on the edge of Nidderdale, you will find the strange folly known as Druid's Temple. While the structure does look like an ancient monument, it was actually built in 1820 on the orders of the estate owner William Danby. He paid local workers affected by an economic depression to build the folly as a way to help tackle unemployment. Not only did Danby design the folly, but he then hired a hermit to live there for 7 years. Unsurprisingly, nobody lasted for the full 7 years. The longest anybody managed to remain there was a still pretty impressive 4.5 years. Druid's Temple is around 100 feet long, consisting of looming stone standing at over 10 feet high. Towards the back of the stone circle, you will see a sacrificial altar and a stone table in front of a dark cave. Not only is the folly itself interesting to see, but it is surrounded by lush woodland, so there are plenty of paths for you to follow to extend your walk. While you explore the area, don't miss this amazing vantage point just past this particularly eerie looking stone structure, where you will be treated to a far-reaching view over Leighton Reservoir. Well, that's it for our 12 suggestions of places to walk in the Yorkshire Dales. Of course, this list only really scratches the surface of this breathtaking part of the country, but I hope if you're new to the Yorkshire Dales, then it will have at least helped get you started. If you would like any more information on the places suggested in this video, then we do have a playlist of more in-depth guides to most of these locations, so I will link that in the description below this video. Thanks for watching.